can't hear the video. Can anybody else?
No, I can't hear it.
You couldn't hear the video?
No.
Let me know if you can hear the video now, okay?
Okay.
Can you hear it?
Yes.
Humanetics is an extremely unique company. There is not any other company like it in the world. Humanetics' origin goes back 65 years. And during that time, we were the original manufacturer, the original designer of crash test dummies. So we've developed every crash dummy that's used today, and we've expanded on our safety products and offerings to our customers. Every airbag, every seatbelt, every seat is measured against the crash test dummy. The crash test dummy is synonymous with Humanetics. So most people don't understand how complex the crash test dummy is. So our most sophisticated crash test dummies can have over 150 sensors. Many of our customers may think we're just a supplier, but in reality, we're really an innovator and we're a developer and we're a partner for them. Humanetics is working with autonomous vehicle companies around the world in developing a modified crash test dummy that will actually work in these alternative seating conditions to make autonomous vehicles much safer. Part of my mission is to continue to grow this company in a manner that better serves our customers. So Humanetics may have started in the field of crash test dummies, but it has expanded tremendously. We make all our own sensors. So not only the same sensors you'd find in a crash test dummy, but we've also expanded to have fiber optic sensors. We have strain gauge sensors. And so really Humanetics is a sensor company, from the design, from the development, right through to delivering to our customers. With our sister companies, we've actually expanded out to a variety of different sensors. We take fiber optic sensors and we use them in medical and aerospace and industrial applications, but we are also introducing fiber back into the crash test dummy. And so that makes a better product for our customers, but ultimately for saving lives. Not only have we created physical test dummies, but we've also created software products so you can do virtual testing that will improve the safety of vehicles without even running a physical test crash. 75% of our sales are outside the US. With the capability of having service centers around the world, we're able to serve our customers best. So Humanetics is in a unique opportunity because we literally work with 100% of every OEM in the world. We work with medical institutions, we work with universities. We have exceptional workers, great skill sets, highly educated workforce. Every employee of Humanetics has a great amount of passion. And passion is this ability for somebody to want to make a difference. And that passion is what separates Humanetics from, I believe, any other company. We have hundreds of people dedicated to this mission to save lives and make a difference. We've been the innovators for 65 years, and we plan to be the innovator for 65.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, sorry about that. Technology. Okay, so Heather, can you tell them a little bit about a day in the life at the plant in Huron, and maybe who works there so they have an idea of that?
Yes. So I am the HR manager for our Ohio facility and also our South Carolina facility. And Humanetics has over 800 employees, over 21 facilities. Our corporate headquarters is in Michigan. We are right on Rye Beach Road. A lot of people don't even know that there's a crash test dummy facility in the area. So when I tell people, they think that that's really cool. We have everything from manufacturing and distribution positions, meaning we have entry-level molders that require absolutely no experience at all. We have CNC machinists, we have CNC setup, we have CAD designers, we have lab technicians, we have quality, and we also have material handling. We also have a huge engineering department. Our engineers come from a broad range of disciplines such as mechanical, biomechanical, electrical, FE, CAE disciplines, and many come from automotive and aerospace. We hire interns year round. I actually just got an email from eHobie for bringing on some summer interns in our machine shop. We usually bring engineers in from local universities. What else? We also have a professional side. So we have sales, we have marketing, finance, HR, and operations.
Great. And then just making it personal, Heather, tell us how you got to where you are.
Oh, well, my story is unique or weird, I would say, to get into HR. So I'm going to talk briefly on that, but I also wanted to talk more about how our director of manufacturing got to where he is, because I feel like
Perfect.
his is a little better than HR. I graduated from the University of Toledo in government, planned to go to law school. Long story short, that wasn't the course that I took. So I landed up in HR. I actually landed up at Humanetics because I worked for a construction company, Bay Mechanical, who was building Humanetics, and I was the safety officer on site. So it's kind of full circle there. But as far as our director of ops, I think his story is very unique. Sorry, I have to start it. So in 2005, he joined Humanetics without a college degree out of high school. He started as an assembler. Within 1 year of that, he was labeled a lead assembler. 3 years later, he was promoted to supervisor. And then in 2011, he was promoted to production superintendent. In 2012, so less than a year later, he was already promoted to plant manager. 6 years later, he was promoted to the manufacturing director, and he is now overseeing Ohio and Michigan facilities. So I just wanted to talk about him because he started out at the entry level, no experience required position. And he is one of our top guys right now. And he did it just from, working hard and wanting to have a better career.
That's great. Thank you so much. At the end, I'm going to have all the panelists chime in on a question I'm going to ask, but for right now, I'm going to move on to our next panelist. Thank you, Heather.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. So our next panelist is Pete Kowalski from Mack Ironworks Company. Pete, do you want to talk a little bit about what your company does?
Absolutely. It's interesting. Heather thanked you for letting her go first. I thank you for not making me go first. So that's appreciated rather. And also thanks for the opportunity to work with the students. I think it's so important for all of you. Of course, we can't see you, but I know you're out there, to be aware of what's out there in the workforce, not only here locally, but just in general for your career path. So Mack Iron's grateful for the opportunity, looks forward to continuing assisting as we can. Mack Iron is a family-run business. We're 120 years old. We're actually in our fourth generation. It started with the Macks back in 1901, and the Bacon family currently owns it. John Bacon is our president and CEO and has been for some time. We actually have a very storied history that John actually loves to tell. So if you ever get a chance, we'd love to do that. I don't think this is the place to do that, but Mack Iron has a very interesting history that, as I said, dates back to 1901 and includes many unique facts about our area. We started making fire escapes, benches, horse posts, believe it or not, jail cells, fences, and in fact, over at Sheldon's Marsh, if you're taking a walk there with your family, there is a brick structure and then an ornamental fence. And if you look at that, that was actually originally the entrance to Cedar Point. It was guarded, quote unquote, by a gate manufactured by Mack Iron. That gate is now a part of that structure right in front of the parking lot, just south of the parking lot for Sheldon's Marsh over toward Huron. In 1950-ish, what is now NASA Plumbrook was an ordnance. They made ammunition for World War II. It was a very important operation to our history as the United States. Well, during that time frame, someone from that facility came over to Mack Iron and said, "Hey, can you make one of these? Is this something you can make?" And it was a pipeline strainer. And as it turns out, here 60, 70 years later, we still are making pipeline strainers, and we make them for people around the world. It's a coarse filtration device that goes in petrochemical lines, refineries, gas producers, processed fluids. Basically, much like the strainer you might use to make your noodles, your spaghetti noodles, except this fits in a pipeline, has many different geometries. There's many engineering aspects to this that are important to the end user. And as I said, this product actually goes around the world, from literally all corners when you talk about using that, power plants, those kind of things. We also have another sideline to our business, which is miscellaneous architectural items, which are stairwells, handrails, and those kind of things. And in fact, over at Firelands Regional, it's probably the best place for me to point out. If you see the parking garage, there are 2 glass corners to that parking lot and the cancer facility as well. You'll see the stairwells through those glass windows, and those are Mack irons. So that's a regional business, while our strainers are international. The construction items we make are actually pretty much from Cleveland to Toledo to Columbus, so that region there. The interesting thing I'd like to say about Mack Iron in closing, in terms of who we are, one of the things you'll consider as you look at your career path is, do I go small company or large company? As you can see on the screen, we're 34 associates strong. That hasn't changed in the 38 years I've been here, plus or minus. We certainly have had some growth, but we don't lay people off either. By virtue of being a small family-owned business, our associates, our workers are like family, and so we cherish them. So we try to avoid any type of layoff and that kind of thing. So we varied anywhere from, I'd say, 30 up to 40-ish, but it's important to keep people employed. So one of the things, as I said, is that you'll have to decide somewhere along your career path whether you go small company or large company, and there are certainly operations or advantages and disadvantages to both. But I will tell you this, one of the most exciting things about my job, and I could say this for many of the people here at Mack Iron, is the fact that we wear a lot of hats. That's the way we said it in the old days. Today, there's probably a vernacular or some sort of way to coin that more cleverly. But the bottom line is, I have a lot of responsibilities, as do many people here. It's not just one aspect. I'm a mechanical engineer, but there are certainly many other safety engineer, plant engineer. I get involved in marketing. I'm dealing with customers in terms of customer relations. So there are many things, in fact, that we all do here.
Great, thank you so much for that overview. I'm going to go to the next panelist, and like I said at the end, we're all going to just discuss some things and have some question and answers with the students. Next is Adam Morrison, and he's the manager of business services and resource development at Goodwill Industries. And Adam, do you want to just give a brief overview of Goodwill and what these students could look to possibly on-ramp here for?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I just wanted to say thank you, Heather, and to Alex for inviting me to be here. So I know that the first thing that most of you guys are thinking, and that's okay, is what the heck is Goodwill doing on a manufacturing construction type panel? And we'll get to that. So I've been here at Goodwill Sandusky for 2 years. It actually was 2 years last Thursday. And you know, I guess just to kind of cover Goodwill, everybody knows Goodwill from the thrift shops and that kind of thing. But kind of how we got here is Goodwill was actually started in 1902 in Boston, Massachusetts by a reverend named Edgar J. Helms. And he had the original model of, you know, people that did not have any other work options. He would give them work and basically have them repair items. And he was selling them out of like almost like a home store. And then it kind of just grew to, you know, the massive organization over the past 120 years that everybody knows about. So here in Sandusky, we have 3 distinct kind of things that we do. The first is retail, right? Everybody knows the retail. We accept donations in the boxes, in the stores. Anything that we feel is sellable, we actually sell at low prices to make it accessible to people of all income levels. And then obviously anything, any revenue we generate from that goes to serve our mission, which I'll talk about here in a minute. Then there's contracts, which is actually kind of my baby. So most people don't know this, but we have 3 facilities, one in Fremont, one in Bellevue, one in Sandusky, where we actually perform manufacturing, you know, light assembly, packaging, quality inspection, that kind of thing, as kind of like a subcontractor for other companies. So we work with many of the leading manufacturers in the area. You know, just to name drop a couple, we work with Ventra, we work with Borgers there in Norwalk, we work with Whirlpool and Clyde. In total, we do employ 200 people, various full-time and part-time positions. And we actually generate this year, the goal is to do $4 million in contracts revenue, to kind of give you an idea of how much work we're doing. Another cool fun fact is that 40% of those people are either have a diagnosed disability or some sort of disadvantaged condition. The other 60% are just working there because it's a good fit for them. And that's something we can talk about a little bit more. And then the thing that I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go. I was going to ask a question.
The thing that I like to talk about the most, because it's really what I'm passionate about, is the mission services, right? So we're raising money through the retail operations and through contracts operations, and it's really to drive what we call mission services. So mission services is basically what Goodwill gives back to the community. So we provide, again, all these resources are completely free, but we provide resources to people like resume writing. When I say job training, you can come here and do, how to use a lot of older people that are trying to get back in the workforce. We do free computer classes so they can feel confident, using Microsoft Outlook and using Excel and that kind of thing. Another thing that we do is we do a lot of job coaching and placement, and that's for people with diagnosed disabilities or without. We do a summer youth program, which kind of helps primarily kids with a diagnosed disability find what they might want to do career path wise and set them on that path to success. I mean, there's just a lot of things that Goodwill does. In my Goodwill, a really big driver of that is the manufacturing or the subcontracting that we do.
So Adam, we've got some seniors about to graduate, maybe don't know what they want to do. Could they come work for you part-time and make some money while they're figuring that out?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're actually looking for people in Bellevue and Fremont. Just kind of depends on what you're doing. Again, I think if you are looking into going into any sort of manufacturing, it would be a great experience because as assemblers, you're kind of exposed to a lot of different processes. I mean, you'll learn a lot of things that are going to be useful anywhere you go in this area. So we might show you an SOP, which is a standard operating procedure. Anywhere that you go to work, you're going to learn a station and they're going to probably give you an SOP or give you, slides or something like that. If you can understand that, walking into another factory or walking into some other workplace, I mean, that's going to be a huge benefit.
Sure.
We also like to give people as much exposure as possible. Like if you're interested in shipping, receiving, a lot of the time we can give you some exposure to that, it really just depends on what you want to do. And again, we actually have full-time positions throughout our contracts, right? So my role as the business services manager is to basically kind of be the account manager, right? So of all the business we do with other companies, I'm the customer rep. I'm, visiting them, soliciting for new things. Whenever we get an opportunity for a contract, I put I do the time study and I do the estimate and I kind of basically say, hey, what price point do we need to be at to make sure that we can pay the wages we pay and, perform the work and make sure that we're making some sort of money to put back into the mission. So,
Great.
my job is, I'm not an engineer by any means. I have a bachelor's in marketing, but in a way it kind of brushes a little bit of industrial engineering as far as trying to figure out the process, a lot of marketing, kind of some sales mixed in there. So, just in kind of like what Pete said, Goodwill, you do wear a lot of different hats. And, I'm a good example of that. Each facility, we have a plant manager who is obviously in charge of production. We have material managers in each facility because a lot of things come in, a lot of things go out. We have quality supervisors in all of our facilities. So again, I mean, we are Goodwill, but we do have a lot of good full-time positions available throughout our facilities that,
Thank
if
you.
you come in, you work there a year or two, I mean, it's going to be invaluable information to take with you somewhere else. Absolutely.
Great. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate it. The next person that's going to talk is Tina. But before I get Tina talking, I want some interaction with the students before we get to the end. So you guys, if you have any reactions, thumbs up, or you can put in the chat, I'd be curious to see how many of you know what you're going to go into. And if you do, put it in the chat, or how many of you have a summer job already? Optometry. We got more than Caleb. I want to hear from everybody. Dermatology. A lot of ologies. Anybody looking for summer employment? Civil engineering. Mechanical engineering, that's great. Cybersecurity. All right. Just wanted to make sure they were alive and functioning and interacting. Zoology, we've got a whole bunch of different ones. Okay, so Tina, I want to introduce Tina from Intelliworks, HT, based in Norwalk, Ohio. Tina, are you ready to give an introduction about your company?
Oh, yes. So I'm excited to be here and thank you for the opportunity to take part of this. Intelliworks, or as we call it around here for short, is IHT. We were founded in November of 2004 with one employee working out of his house at that time. The main focus was to distribute heaters, AC/DC motors, and added value for different markets. Just last year, January of 2020, we were able to expand the scope of our business to include non-UL and UL wire processing and non-UL and UL panel building manufacturing. We went from 5 employees, 4 which were full-time, 1 was part-time, to 15 employees over the last year, increasing our full-time count to 8 and our part-time employees to 7. We currently conduct businesses with companies located in the United States, Canada, Mexico, China, England, and the Czech Republic. We have been located in Norwalk since we've been founded, and we have moved a couple of times through the years. And in 2019, we moved to our current location on Industrial Parkway.
Great. And what types of jobs or skills are needed to work at Intelliworks?
The jobs that we are looking for are panel builders and people to do wire prep. The panel builder, wire prep gets the wire ready for the assemblers to put the wire into the panels. We take the wire, it's automated to some extent, and then some of it's manual for wire. For the wire, it goes through a machine, it cuts it, it strips it, it prints the information on the wire of what the connections are. Then manually we put on ferrules and other hardware. And then once that's completed, they take the wire over to the assembly and put it into the panels. Before the panels can be wired, the wire or the panel assemblers have to put in the components into the panel, and then they take the wire and do point-to-point connections. And then we also have quality to make sure that those connections are correct. And once that's done, they get palletized and ready for shipment. And just like everybody else is saying, there's so much to do. We have inventory in the back, shipping, receiving, getting help with the distribution, other added value as it's needed.
Great. All right. Thank you, Tina, so much for the overview. And we'll get back at the end with a conversation about some advice for the seniors. And so next we have Chuck Plum. He is from R&D Equipment, just around the corner from Tina at Intelliworks, based in Norwalk, Ohio. Chuck, do you want to give an overview of your company and just let me know when to go to the video?
Sure. You can go to the video anytime you want to, Heather. R&D Equipment is a small machine builder. We're located in the industrial park north of Norwalk. We're small. We have 10 current employees. I would certainly like to increase the number of employees, but finding skilled help these days is really difficult. What we do, we have our own line of printing machines for printing on cups and containers and plastic lids and paper plates. And one of our flagship products is an egg carton printer. If you've ever seen an egg carton, our machine does the decorating like you see on this carton. Our machine is one of the few in the world that's supplied for that industry. It'll run 250 egg cartons a minute. We sell them all over the world. Probably 50% of our business is overseas. So we're an international business. We have equipment in every continent but Antarctica. And with that comes the opportunity to travel a little bit. We'll send technicians with a machine when it needs to be installed. The machine that you see on the screen right now in the video is a pick and place unit. We've gotten involved with a battery industry. Those are titanium and graphite plates. That machine is a pick and place unit used at a heat treating facility. We also do a lot of UV machines, UV conveyors for curing coatings and adhesives on products that need ultraviolet curing. We do a lot of custom machines. We've recently gotten involved with the Loctite Corporation. We're developing a family of machines to automatically put pipe sealant onto all kinds of threads for parts. We have a machine that does several million parts a year. It's a high volume production machine. So basically we are a custom machine builder, and the type of people that we hire are welders, machinists, assemblers, people who understand pneumatics and hydraulics. We need electrical engineers, panel builders, CAD designers, mechanical engineers. We just run the whole gamut of skilled employees.
Now, Chuck, if one of the students, I have a couple that are going into engineering, I know it might not be the exact engineering you do, but how would you work with a student that's going off to college? Do you look for summer internships for people who then leave and come back?
We're seriously starting to look at that because of such a shortage. Plus, the people that you do find out there doesn't really have the skill set that we need. So even though you may have a basic foundation of mechanical engineering, for instance, some of the things we do are so unique that they need to be tailored to what we do. So we're thinking about starting to bring people in at a younger age to introduce them to what we do, and then possibly help them with their education to grow within the company.
That's great. Any advice to the seniors, or maybe tell them your story a little bit?
Well, my story is I'm a lifelong resident. I was born in Norwalk. I've lived in Berlin Heights my whole life. And my father had his own business. So growing up with that, I always had the desire to have my own business. And now I do have my own business. So I started out and just became a welder at a company that no longer exists in this region. Then I moved up to being a supervisor. Went to Bowling Green part-time until I got my degree in mechanical engineering, and continue to work various positions in local companies. I used to be the vice president general manager of Faberweld here in Norwalk. Referencing Heather, I used to work for Vector Research, was the predecessor to Humanetics, as a production manager there. So over the years, you develop certain skill sets. And I've always leaned towards the management side, but I also learned several skills en route. So that's how I got here. And it was certainly a long process. It wasn't a quick event.
Thank you so much for that overview. We're going to move on to our next panelist, our last panelist, and then we'll go into a question and answer. So students, get ready to ask some questions to our panelists after this next company. So let me get through there. All right, so next up is Norwalk Concrete Industries, and we have Jason Cross, who's their production superintendent, along with Logan Brutcher, their safety manager. So Jason and Logan, between the two of you, will you give an overview of what Norwalk Concrete Industries does?
I'll start. I'm Jason. Thanks for having us. Norwalk Concrete's been around since 1906, 115 years, currently third generation family owned. We have two plants here in Norwalk, one on Woodlawn and the other one's out on Commerce behind Toughman off of Route 20. We are members of the NPCA, National Precast Concrete Association. We've been 30 years certified through that association. Our products include highway drainage structures, manholes, medium barrier, utility vaults, basement foundation systems, electrical pole boxes, septic tank cisterns. I mean, I really can't even list everything we make. We kind of, if you need it and it's made out of concrete, we figure out a way to make it. As a matter of fact, most of you love precast concrete, you just might not realize it. So if you love the modern conveniences of a flush toilet or or washing your hands and the water runs down a sink and disappears through your pipes. That's all going through precast concrete. The infrastructure of the cities and towns all across really the world, the foundation of the infrastructure is precast concrete. A lot of it's buried. We make it here. We deliver to all the 5 touching states. Ohio, we're into Canada almost weekly when we're busy. We've gone Montana, Louisiana, Florida. We got a quote right now for some work in Nebraska. Mainly we stay a little within 5-6 hour drive, but we do get out there sometimes. We have carpenters, laborers, construction managers, truck drivers, mechanics, engineers, draftsmen, accountants, sales, service technicians, safety professionals. I'm sure there's even more, but we currently have about 100 employees. And one thing we really do love to do, and I heard this earlier from the panel, is we do like to advance from within. So when we get, and Logan and I are both proof of that, when we get quality employees who prove to be good workers, we'll advance them through the ranks. Logan, you want to add to that, or?
Yeah. Hi, Logan.
Hello. So just kind of differing from kind of what I do as to what Jason does. So while Jason handles more of kind of scheduling production and do kind of the day-to-day operations in our shop, more of what my position is kind of, making sure that, God forbid, anyone gets hurt. I mean, I'm the one kind of reporting, tracking, and kind of making sure we can get that person, healthy back in the job, whether it be, transitional work or whatever that may entail. I work with kind of implementing our safety plans, whether it be for our plant laborers, truck drivers, our service technicians. When we get new employees, usually Jason and I are the first ones you're going to see. And while he covers a lot of kind of what you're going to be doing as a new hire, I'm going over kind of, general safety things you'll find in, probably most companies. And then also with kind of our industry specific in precast concrete, what we're doing, things to look out for, ways that, one thing that we preach often here is that we want everyone to go home safe, healthy to your families. And because, like we said, we are a family owned business, so that is a big part of what we do. So a lot of my job is, networking, getting with, various organizations, whether that be organizations within Huron County, the state of Ohio, or with the MPCA, who's kind of our overarching, kind of national certifier. And then,
So I have a quick question for the two of you. If you could each maybe in 60 seconds or less, no rush, but how did you get where you are? But I think that students would be interested in that. And I know, Logan, you're from a Norwalk graduate, so.
Yes, I was in the same seat that, you seniors are in as of 2013, as a graduate of Norwalk High School. So I'm not much older than you are. But I went to college majoring in education and history, hoping to be a social studies teacher. Fast forward to 2018, I finished my degree. I've been working in NCI over the summer, starting in 2016. So when I graduated, I thought, maybe they'll have me back until I find a job, thinking this might be a couple-week thing. And we're sitting in October 2020, still not in the classroom, but just using kind of all of my experience of, 4+ years being here, and then just kind of learning, trying to do, learning various things, getting out, talking with contractors, being on the road, being in the plant. And then I was given this position. And while you may find, people have a lot of different qualifications than a bachelor's in history, now it's just kind of, getting to the point where I can, safely do my job. So like I said before, we can get guys home safe.
Great.
Jason.
Yeah, and I am a Norwalk graduate as well, 1993, a little bit sooner than, or later than Logan, but I got out and went in the Army National Guard to help me get through college. I got into college after my sophomore year. My college debt was not something I liked, and really compared to today's standards, it really wasn't even that much, but I just decided to, and I wasn't real sure what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I got out of college. I was going to work, pay off my debt, go back to college. I started working heavy highway construction with some local companies here, making pretty good paychecks. So I never ended up going back to school, but 10 years of heavy highway, started a family. I didn't want to be working on the road anymore. Led me to Norwalk Concrete. Started here as a truck driver, and through a strong work ethic and a willing to learn everything I could. I have took a lot of schooling. I've been ACI certified, strength technician, field technician. I took a lot of MPCA schooling and became the company's first master precaster. And from truck driver, I had worked my way up to the ranks to my current position of production superintendent.
Great, thank you, Jason. Okay, so I'm going to do a real quick fire round here to the panelists for advice. So what advice would you give to a graduating high school senior? So all these students right here. I'll give each of you, and I'm going to start with the order we came in with Heather. Give me a 10-second response. What is your advice?
I would say just always work hard, do your best, go to work every day on time. Easy stuff.
Great. Pete?
I would say develop communication skills, writing, collaboration, team building. I think attitude is more important than aptitude. Many times I think Chuck made a good point of how we will develop people internally. We talked about advancing from within. So there's opportunity to get into a place, but you have to look and appealing to people. And again, communication skills and attitude, more than aptitude, quite frankly, can get you that opportunity many times.
Great. Adam?
I kind of piggyback off Pete with attitude. My main advice would be just be coachable. You've heard a lot of people here that they have college degrees, but they're not working in what they thought they would. And most people, it's because, a college degree will get you in the door, but being coachable and being willing to learn and help the company in any way possible is how you're going to ascend. That's kind of what I've done. And I've been out of college 7 years and have had some really good jobs. And I credit that mostly to just being willing to learn.
Great. Tina?
Piggybacking on everybody else, it's communication. I don't have my degree either, so I have worked my way up into where I'm at. One of the things I researched while I was doing this is getting ready for this is AAA, AA has 170 different meanings to different people. So understand that you may know what you're talking about, somebody else may not know, or they may have a different meaning for what you're talking about. So just communicate, have that openness with them, and keep in mind that they're not going to know everything, and neither are you, and ask questions.
Chuck?
You're muted, Chuck.
Everybody needs to realize that your basic education is just the beginning. You're going to be a lifelong student. You need to embrace the fact that the more you learn, the less you know. The deeper you get into topics, the deeper they become. So accept the fact that even at my age, I'm still learning constantly. So just remember, you're always going to be a student no matter what you do, and embrace it. It really makes life much more fulfilling.
Thank you. And then Jason and Logan, quickly.
Yeah, Chuck nailed it. I agree with him on that. Always learn. Change is inevitable. Don't fight change. Embrace it. Run with it, and try change with it, and work hard. Go ahead, Logan.
For me, if I could go back, I may, plan my career path a little bit, more inclined to my current position. But, if you have picked out what you want to do, try and get some practical experience before you graduate college. I started from square one, and I feel like that gave me a much better, with kind of stuff I learned in college, much better grasp of this job when I took it.
Okay, thank you so much, panelists. I'm rushing a little bit. They have 5 minutes to get in their next one. Students, I will be reaching out to you with all the information from these panelists and how to connect with them. But thank you everyone for your time, and we'll see you at the top of the hour.